Some people say those adverse reactions people are crazy. I got the shot and nothing bad happened to me, they say. Well, let me give you a few simple reasons why that is. First of all, you have absolutely no idea what is in that syringe before they shove it into you. Billions of vials were filled and shipped all over the world, and then they have to be stored at really cold temperatures and mixed a certain way. And by the way, the instructions for Pfizer and Moderna say do not shake the vial, just gently tip it 10 times. So the chances that the end product will have the same concentrations of the same stuff are about 1,000,000,000 to 1. So unless you do a detailed analysis of what's in that syringe after it was mixed, you have no idea what's in there. So maybe you got lucky and the shot that you got was degraded and weak. Since you don't know what was in it, let's take a look at what the vaccine manufacturers say is in the shot. They say that there are lipid nanoparticles in the shot, and here they are, boxed in red. They are proprietary and toxic. Pfizer's is called ALC315 and Moderna's is called SM102. If you look them up, you will clearly see that they are not intended for human nor veterinary use, but they are in these shots that went into billions of humans. And what are these lipid nanoparticles? Well, they are extremely tiny fat bubbles, curiously the size of viruses that tend to stick together like you see happening here in this electron microscope image. So they put polyethylene glycol in there in various forms, shown boxed in red here, to keep the particles separated like this. Did you know that the person who jabs you is instructed 3 times during the preparation to make sure it's not coagulating before they shove it into you? So what happened was millions of people were lined up in their cars in church parking lots to get their sacrament of vaccination. And some of the unlucky ones got injected with coagulating goo that caused a stroke or a heart attack within minutes or hours. So maybe you were lucky. Did you know that half the people who died after getting injected died within 48 hours, and 80% of them died within a week? And some of those people were listed as being unvaccinated? And why is that? Because it takes 2 weeks for the immune system to make serum antibodies after getting injected. And our geniuses at the CDC and the NIH think that you have no protection unless you have those serum antibodies. So they say that these people are unvaccinated, totally ignoring the fact that the protection of infection is cellular and does not involve those serum antibodies. They say that those lipid nanoparticles contain messenger RNA. Well, messenger RNA is the message to make the spike protein, the toxic thing that can hurt you. Well, the mRNA is proprietary also. Pfizer's is called tozanamaran, and Moderna's is called elasomaran. They are different and will make different proteins. So anyone telling you that they are making the same protein is a liar. And did you know that mRNA can degrade? So maybe you got lucky and got injected with something that didn't even make the spike protein, lessening your chances of an adverse reaction. And did you know that the lipid nanoparticles that contain the messenger RNA are called vectors? That's right, these lipid nanoparticle vectors will merge with any cell of your body, any cell, and deliver that messenger RNA immediately. Well, J&J and AstraZeneca didn't use lipid nanoparticles. They used deactivated adenovirus as vectors to deliver the messenger RNA. But adenovirus vectors do not enter cells like these lipid nanoparticles do. They need to bind with cellular receptors to deliver the messenger RNA. Well, guess what? We come in contact with adenoviruses all the time. So if you had a recent adenovirus infection, you may not have even known it, but you would have natural, high-quality antibodies against the adenovirus. There is no shot for adenoviruses, meaning that no one has crappy, suboptimal vaccine-induced antibodies. So maybe you got lucky. You were recently infected, and those perfect natural antibodies that you have did their job and blocked the vector from attaching to cells to deliver the messenger RNA. This means you made little to no spike proteins, meaning that you would have little to no adverse reactions. The product is supposed to be injected into the muscle only, not blood vessels. Good practice would be to aspirate the needle by pulling back on the plunger slightly to make sure it is not in a blood vessel, but that was never done. They just stick and push, like you see here in this training video, and here in the COVID car lines. So you have no idea where the tip of that needle is. If it's in a blood vessel or a capillary bed, the contents of the shot will rapidly spread through your vascular system, significantly increasing the chances of an adverse reaction. It's just like Russian roulette. So maybe you got lucky again, and the tip of your needle wasn't in a blood vessel. The pH of your cells determines the amount of spike proteins that will get made. So the more acidic, the more you make. And this can be dependent on your diet or medications that you may have been taking at the time. So maybe you got lucky again, and due to your diet, you made less spike proteins and would therefore have less adverse reactions. So again, you don't know for sure what's in the shot, but has anyone ever looked to see what's in there? Well, Japan looked and found stainless steel contaminants in 39 Moderna vials from 3 different lots, most likely due to poor quality control during the manufacturing process at this company, Rovi Pharma, in Madrid, Spain. 2 young men, aged 30 and 38, were confirmed dead just a few days after receiving shots from those lots, so 1.63 million vials were recalled by Moderna. Other people looked too. A few independent researchers have reported contamination of bacteria and small parasites. More recently, several sophisticated laboratories have sequenced the genetic material that's in the vials and found excess DNA and a promoter gene from the SV40 virus that can chaperone that DNA directly into the nucleus of your cells, where they can be integrated into your DNA. And when that happens, genetic mutations can occur in cell lines that will become cancerous. So maybe you got lucky again, and your shot wasn't contaminated. But you can only be lucky for so long. The effects of these shots are cumulative and can be delayed. So each time you get one, you are increasing your chances of experiencing a severe adverse reaction either immediately or 3 to 5 years down the road. You must get over the idea that injecting something into your body that makes a protein that will result in antibody production is somehow going to protect you and others from being infected. It won't. It can do the exact opposite and make you more likely to become infected and spread it to others. That's called antibody-dependent enhancement of infection. And guys like Fauci admit that that paradox happens, but they never explain why. So they try to convince you that getting the shot and boosters will make your experience with the disease symptoms less severe when you do get infected. Now, that doesn't work either, because you can get too many of the wrong kinds of antibodies that will make the symptoms worse. And guys like Hotez admit this happens, but they don't explain why. It's called antibody-dependent enhancement of disease. So if you want to learn more about the 2 types of antibody-dependent enhancement and why the shot can do that to you, I explain it in simple terms at this link right here. If you want to know more about the immune system than many doctors do, consider taking my comprehensive 4-module course on the immune system available here. Thanks for watching, and thanks for staying smart.